For a closer look at Mexico's approach to NAFTA under the new government, we've reached John Ackerman. He is a professor at the National Autonomous University of Mexico. He is also the editor-in-chief of the Mexican Law Review and is close to the president-elect. And Professor Ackerman is in Mexico City. So, John, we know that Donald Trump is not a booster of NAFTA. Justin Trudeau likes it. Tell us where Mexico's incoming president stands on this issue.
Well, López Obrador has been very positive about NAFTA. This is actually, it represents a development of his own positions, and particularly of the Mexican left. For many decades, the left has been very much against NAFTA when it was first signed. But today, López Obrador is very much in favor of continuing with this three-way agreement between Canada, the United States, and Mexico. Mexico has a very close economic relationship with the United States and with Canada. 80% of the exports go to the United States. Less go to Canada, but we've already started to construct this sort of North American region. López Obrador is going to make economic changes, of course. He's going to try to strengthen the national economy. He's spoken about food self-sufficiency, for instance, increasing forward and backward linkages to foreign investment corporations or, maquiladoras, et cetera, really making, international commerce work for Mexico and Mexican workers, because, real salaries in Mexico have basically been stagnated for the last 20 years. Mexico today has the lowest minimum wage in all of Latin America. So these things definitely need to change, but this does not mean that López Obrador at all is going to have an anti-free trade stance. His chief economic advisors are very much on the boat with how Mexico has been going for the last few years.
And yet, he has been critical of NAFTA in the past. So why do you think his thinking on NAFTA has changed?
Well, I think he's been objectively critical of NAFTA in terms of what benefits it's actually created for the Mexican economy. And this is true. If you look at the studies, the growth in Mexico over the last 20 years during NAFTA has actually been less than other countries in Latin America who don't have this privileged access to U.S. and Canadian markets. And so NAFTA, it's true, has not worked, has not been the magical recipe to recover Mexico's economy. But that doesn't mean that we need to just get rid of NAFTA. Getting rid of NAFTA is not going to solve the problems either. What we need to do is take advantage of this opportunity for the renegotiation of NAFTA to make it actually work for the Mexican, American, and the Canadian people, and not just be this sort of elitist agreement, but for it to actually, lead to, for instance, increasing minimum wage in Mexico would be a great side effect of renegotiating NAFTA. Trump himself has said that he would be in favor of that, and Mexico raising its minimum wage, for instance.
And so, Donald Trump has talked about maybe there will be bilateral agreements between Canada and the U.S. and then between U.S. and Mexico. What do you think Obrador's thinking is on that? Do you think that he wants to, and Canada, that under this present government, seems to want it to be a three-way pact? What do you think his thinking is on that?
Well, I think it's definitely in Mexico's interest for Canada to be in the loop, for this to be a three-way negotiations. Of course, any bilateral relationship between the United States, especially when you have Trump at the helm, is not going to be good for the weaker side of that pair, either whether that be Canada or whether it be Mexico. So I think that having the three people at the table, and particularly introducing López Obrador into the mix, I think is going to strengthen the possibility of a three-way agreement, because sorry about that, especially because López Obrador has come in with such legitimacy. That's something very important. Beyond his ideology of left or right, which he's on the left, the important thing is that he is the most legitimate president we've had for a long time. The last time a president got over 50% of the vote, and we only have one round, and not two rounds in Mexico, was in 1982. This was in the depths of the authoritarian one-party state. Since the time of plural parties, this is the very first time that the president has gotten beyond 50%. So he's going to get a real mandate there. He's going to have a strong position to sit at the table, and he's not going to have to use exaggerated demagogy to play to his base, as Trump does, for instance, with this stuff. He's going to be able to go directly for a pragmatic solution, which should be good for all of North America.
All right, John, good to talk to you. Thank you, John Ackerman in Mexico City.
Thank you.